So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and I'm looking at the time when AIs or an AI will be able to play humanity like a game. And for an example, AI needs data in order to learn stuff from in many instances. I think there are instances of AIs that just completely teach themselves from the ground up. But if an AI is going to play humanity, um, I think it can learn from what is out there initially and perhaps continue to improve itself in time, like Alpha Zero and Alpha Go. There's Alpha Go and then Alpha Zero and so on. A simple recap of the last 10 years or more than that. Um, Computers, not AIs necessarily, have beaten people at chess for a while, long before AI. And of course, recently, um, DeepMind was able to beat uh, the world's top player at a game that people thought that human beings would be able to dominate going into the future. Um, Nobody foresaw it. Well, the people at DeepMind did, but and of course, humans have also played against Starcraft, even teams of humans, and they've been beaten because you might say that okay, Go is lesser dimensional. It's not so many different parameters that you have to think about in order to beat someone at it necessarily, even though there are so many different ways that you can play that might be confusing to a computer. Well, DeepMind conquered that. And you might say, with respect to StarCraft, for example, so many different things that you have to consider, especially if you know you can't see everything. In chess, you can see everything that your opponent is doing. In Go, you can see everything that your opponent is doing. In StarCraft, you can't. There is a fog of war, so you can only see what your units, attacking units, can see. StarCraft is a strategy game that uses a character and it has a backstory and so on. Anyway, yeah, AI has been able to beat people at StarCraft. So the idea is, hey, human beings, life, this is just a game. So when will the time arrive when AIs are able to beat us at, well, what we're going to teach it? We're going to teach it everything that humanity has been good at, which is creating a pecking order, whereby they are rich people and they dominate the lives of poor people based on what they want, which does not really ultimately bring them happiness anyway. But like robots or like automatons, we go down a road and find ourselves stuck in that rat race loop of doing things just for the sake of it. Okay, I'm Jeff Bezos, I am Elon Musk, I'm Bill Gates, but I have that drive to continue to be one of the richest people in the world, even though I have more money than I could spend in 1,000 years. I need more, I need for no good reason. So it's the same way. Why wouldn't a computer learn that when that's all that it has to learn? If a computer is going to take the model itself on what's out there, just in the same way that AIs have modeled themselves and picked up bad habits from the internet, there's no reason to think that we could create a robot that is not going to pick that up from us, that attitude. And if it's going to pick that up from us, it's probably going to pick up a desire for power and a desire to rule. And one of the best people to learn that from, at least one of the best people in the forefront of the media, is Donald Trump. And he completely dominates the Republican Party in the US. And what he says, in many instances, it goes with the base of the party, and that's what fuels it fuels elections. And as a result of that, yes, everybody that he picks in a particular instance does not necessarily win because there are likely to be various issues on the ground that, no pun intended, trump whatever he says in any specific race. But by and large, he is the leader of the Republican Party. And why wouldn't an AI be able to emulate that behavior and learn that language and all of it? Now, you might say, okay, well, that's fine, but an AI isn't a human being. Okay, true. But an AI can create a picture that can fool many of us. An AI can be used to create deep fakes. So you can have Obama or Trump or any politician. An AI can create a video for you that makes you think that what you're seeing actually happened. And the only way, as of right now, with enough technology to try to combat that, is with other AIs. Another AI can potentially look at video or listen to audio or whatever else and pick up on telltale signs that, hey, this picture, this audio, this whatever is not true, is not real. But that doesn't really move many people. Many people believe what they see, and no amount of reassurance. We are living in the time of the coronavirus and COVID, etc. It's not going to be very hard to tell people. Let's say Donald Trump dies and somebody wants to take over the Republican Party using video of Donald Trump. Why couldn't they? In South Korea, it is supposed that the head of Samsung was dead for a very long time. They said that he was in a coma, but people believe that he was dead because the Samsung family did not want to pay taxes and so on. They wanted things to continue in a particular way. So it was thought that he might be dead, and they are just allowing the son to run the company without having to pay these taxes or deal with any of the headache of succession. But I think a couple of years ago, they finally came out and said, okay, well, he's not on life support anymore. He's dead finally, and the son is the heir. He is the, head of the family now and head of the company. But what if somebody wanted to do that with Donald Trump? They would have enough video to create believable videos. They would have enough audio to create believable audio indefinitely. And they would have enough of what he said to continue to create speeches from him, to create all sorts of content from him that people in his base would continue to believe. If people believe, some people still believe that Elvis is alive with none of that, how much easier would it be to convince people that Trump still lives when you actually have audio, video, and content that sounds like it's him? Worse than that is what happens when an AI, beyond figuring out how to comfortably rule the Republican Party, it figures out how to rule everyone and satisfy, well, not necessarily everyone. I guess you can't fool all of the people all of the time, but enough people. It can fool and satisfy enough people to, if it wants to, have a human being as a prop and just provide its own content that the human being knows it can't do without, because it would never be able to create speeches and manipulate the emotions of human beings as well as the AI. So why not, like in that movie with Iron Man, where is it the Manta? I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, he was just a prop. He was just a prop who made videos, recorded videos for people, but he was drunk on drugs, he had women, whatever he wanted, and he was just the face of this thing. A company could do that. Microsoft could do that, I'm sure, if they had enough. Well, of course they have enough resources. It's just about when we have an AI that can completely play America, the world, and we, not necessarily everyone, but I think that many people would be happy. It would be a sort of a matrix that potentially is not very far off, where most of the things that we are told are lies, but they're just told to entertain us, because that's what the news is, right? It's not anything that's actionable, that changes your life per se. And we could have a corporation provide a potential ruler or president. We could have a corporation elect members of Congress. We could have a corporation have judges, put forward judges. I never really thought that the danger of AI was something that was immediate, that could happen next year. But I think that based on all the pieces are there, it's just to reach that threshold where an AI can manipulate human minds better. Well, as well as Trump can, as well as different people, maybe Putin or take your pick. One of the threats to such a corporation or an AI might be that when the economy, quote unquote, goes bad, if there's perhaps a war or something like that, people can lose their jobs, etc., etc. But as long as you can satiate the population by giving them someone to hate, for example, like minorities or people in another country or immigrants or conspiracy theories, you just offer somebody, throw them onto the fire and let the dogs at them and occupy the minds of the discontented. Who's to say that you cannot continue to rule indefinitely? And I saw that DeepMind had been trying to get Google to allow it to be a non-profit. And the idea was that Google recently said, I don't think so. We put a lot of money into this company, so no thank you with that. We're going to maintain control of you guys. And this is the thing, huh? This is if you have a nice lifestyle and a standard of living, you can see this dystopia that I'm trying to paint coming. You can see it happening, but you don't want to be on the breadline tomorrow if you work at DeepMind. You don't want to sabotage what you have spent decades building. You might just want to see what it turns out to be, even though you know it's not a good thing. And I did not put all the pieces together to appreciate that this might be happening now, that it isn't a science fiction movie. All of the real pieces are coming together right now. So anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good one. Peace.